Hello everyone, I'm glad to introduce Sindhoor from Infovana Technologies. She's a senior business development manager in cybersecurity. She takes care of data protection, compliance readiness, cloud security, data storage optimization. She has good experience in sales and marketing across the cybersecurity domains. So in this webinar, Sindhoor is going to talk about introduction to cyber attacks and cyber hygiene. Welcome, Sindhoor.
Thank you so much, Romita. Thank you so much. I need to thank even Hemant for getting in touch with me for this, kind of opportunity where I could talk about, the cyber security, the basics of it, make people aware of the cyber hygiene and everything. And thank you.
Thank you so much. We are glad to have you here.
Me too.
So, Sindhoor, since we are talking about cyber hygiene and cyber security, so can you brief on the current status of cyber attacks that we face?
Yeah, sure. See, with the current cyber attacks faced, what you're asking about, so with the information from Google's VP Engineering, that is for privacy, safety, and security of India, he's been stated that almost India has suffered 18 million cyber attacks in the whole, and a couple of lakhs threats in one day in the first quarter of 2022. So you might be thinking, by the end of the year, how much would be the multiple folds? This way, and again the global attacks been increased around 28%, okay, within the third quarter of this 2022 compared to the last year. Okay, India remains like it's still undergoing digital transformation, so 30% of all the Indian transactions are being digital, okay, witnessing the highest within the world. However, you see that there's also dark side to it, where like you might think, okay, digital transformation is happening in India. India is progressing safe, and it's very easy way for us to go via internet. But bad guys also try to cash in this some transition. Okay, so India is the fourth place, being globally vulnerable to cyber attacks, accounting to around 18.5 annual loss in US billion dollars. Okay, India being the fourth place, so first place goes to China. Okay, India is also the second largest user of the smart devices, and it also has the largest spaces for internet consumers. Being so much progressive and everything, India still being a sitting duck, which is being exposed to the many in-house and international types of cyber attacks. Going forward, so when we talk about cyber attacks, so what is the common types of cyber attacks we experience? So it can be malware, phishing, man-in-the-middle attack, DDoS, that is distributed denial of service, SQL injection, zero-day exploit, business email compromise, so on. So you would be, most heard of these kind of cyber threats. Okay. So when we talk about cyber security, there's something called as information security too. So data is everything. Data is the new gold. That's how it's been treated, I mean respected these days, the data. So first let's understand what is cyber security and information security. So see, information security focuses on protecting content, okay, that's the data, whether it's in digital form or it's in a physical form. Okay, so when it comes to threats, information security threats includes theft of the data, it be physical, or deletion of the content, modification or damage for the integrity of the content, maybe unauthorized access of the data and everything. Okay, so this is information security. When it comes to cyber security is a whole. It compasses of protecting the data, the networks, the devices, be it electronical or digital threats and everything. Okay, so when we say cyber security threats, it can be an unauthorized access to a network or the content, or maybe an installation of a malware into your system. Okay, so if this is there to understand, cyber security can be taken into consider of three fundamental concepts. Okay, that is known as the CIA triad. You must be aware, everyone with this domain would be understanding what is CIA triad. That is nothing but confidentiality, integrity, and availability. See, this model is meant to build a guide to organization with the policies of cybersecurity in the realm of information security. To be said, uh, take it as, information security is a subset of cybersecurity. So confidentiality of a data is very important. Okay, so it gives a limit of the sensitive information being accessed by any cyber attacks. Okay, very simply explained. Integrity, it's being data being consistent, accurate, and being a kind of trustworthy over the times. So integrity is something like you can add on, like information rights managements can be added to it. And availability, yes, availability is very very important with respect to data. Okay, all necessary components like hardware, software, be your network, your devices, and everything. Though, and the security equipment should be maintained and upgraded and everything. When it comes to availability, I would like to talk about a 3-to-1 backup rule of data. This is very important. Be it anyone, a layman or a company, a big company, everyone should be aware of this. So 3-to-1 backup rule: create one primary backup, that is 2 copies of your data, and save your backup in 2 different medias. And last one is keep at least one backup file in your offsite. Okay, so this is the 3-to-1 backup rule for making your data available. Okay, so once we understood all this data attacks, cyber threats, and everything, to avoid such kind of attacks, people who are web accessing it, different levels, need to understand this basic term called cyber hygiene. And there are some methods, and they need to follow them religiously.
I really like the 3-to-1 concept that the analogy that you put in. Yeah, that's something new to me. So, yeah, that was a very insightful answer, in fact. So,
Okay.
since we started talking about cyber hygiene, so could you go into details and tell our audience about what cyber hygiene actually is?
Oh, sure. See, cyber hygiene. What is a hygiene? Hygiene is something, making things neat, clean, following it. So it's a cyber hygiene is something analogous to personal hygiene. See, we wake up, we brush your teeth, we take bath, we try to keep our surroundings and ourselves hygiene. So same way has to be followed and integrated into an organization for simple daily routine checkups, the behavior, and also make sure the organization online health is on in perfect condition. Okay, so various countries have their own recommendations and advisories that these kind has to be followed, that this you would have heard even ISO 27001, it's a global standard. Some companies adopt it, they define their own terms of maintaining their cyber safe and everything. Okay, so in the cyber hygiene, everyone needs to create a strong security posture. So in short, cyber hygiene encompasses your hardware, your software, your IT infrastructure, environment, your knowledge on awareness, what is happening, and even in your employees' devices, how is it being taken care and everything. See, in today's ever-changing landscape of this threat, it's more important to ever make a cyber hygiene routine that can prevent the cyber criminals in causing, security breaches, installing different types of malware into your system, stealing your personal information from you. And when you get affected, when a company is affected, your customer data will also be affected. So many organizations rely mostly exclusive on, cyber security professionals to hold out these kind of activities. So uh, uh, I feel this is kind of a mistake what people do. They only want these professionals to take care. No. See, every employee must hold his account. Okay, every employee should be trained about this basic cyber hygiene practices, and they're rolled in protecting and maintaining the systems, IT systems, the devices they use day by day. So this would be a better to manage the incident, response it, and provide immediate and effective, defenses against the cyber attacks. So it doesn't matter whether your company has just 10 employees or 10,000 employees. What matters is, you're being very safe from these breaches. Okay, and to be telling, the client is becoming increasingly connected, and there's the size of the data has been, huge. Breaches is on the rise. So in the context, I would like to tell you a number. Just 34 data breaches, okay, happened, have exposed more than 55 million people's. Okay, so this is somewhere you need to really work on your cyber hygiene, routines to take care.
55 million is indeed big, and that too just by
That's 34 attacks,
breaches,
which just has affected 55 million people.
True. Thank you. That was very informative. So, now moving on to the next question. So, yeah, of course, you spoke about, the breaches and how it affected us. So, why do you think that cyber hygiene is that important for any organization?
Right. Yeah. Like I said to you, each and every day the attacks are happening. You really, you get into that, and you suffer a lot of losses. The name of your companies is being taken down. You suffer that and everything. So I can tell you that, the importance is nothing but we need to implement this kind of security posture in the companies. So we do have multiple attack vectors that are in need of the cyber hygiene. Okay, so be it your hardware, your software, your connected devices, your cloud storage, those programs, SaaS applications, they regularly need to have ongoing maintenance, like I said before. So each of these systems become vulnerable over time as new vulnerabilities are evolved. Okay, so naming few common cyber hygiene problems, I could tell loss of data, be it in your hard drive, your online cloud storage, SaaS. Maybe sensitive data you're not tried to back up and it's been hacked, you're not able to retrieve it. Maybe you're vulnerable to hacking, data leaks happen. So these are some examples for loss of data. Okay, and another vector would be the misplaced data. So poor cyber hygiene means losing data in other ways. Okay, because you're not implementing it while it's going to not to be corrupted, or it might be gone for good. Okay, increasingly you try to misplace data. So there, yeah, like I said, you need to adapt your 3-to-1 rule, so you can retrieve them. Okay, the next vector is the security breaches. So data breaches are getting increasingly common. So like you would have experienced or heard about spear phishing, whaling attacks, lack of configuration management, and having a poor network security can all cause all this exposure to getting the security breaches. So next, what would again affect is your outdated software. Some of the software application we would have already downloaded in your devices, end users, or anything, they must be updated with the security patches regularly to stop those known vulnerabilities. You would have heard about attack which was happened in somewhere on the May 2017, known as WannaCry ransomware. Okay, it was somewhere around, like, I remember 12th May. It went of like 3-4 days. So it really affected whole of world. It was to the Microsoft users who really affected. So when you have this updated, the patches updated, it really important part of having a good cyber hygiene. So even taking care of your older security software, and poor or maybe a lack of vendor risk management. See, vendor risk management, you solely really can't take care of your organization security posture. So you need to have some third party vendors and service providers. They have access to your Wi-Fi networks, or maybe the process of sensitive data on your behalf. So that is why the vendor risk management is also important for you to be taken care. You will have a regulatory requirement to focus on third-party risk management. That is nothing but you've heard about HIPAA, PCI DSS, SOX, and everything. So yeah, these are the vectors, and I guess these are very much important, and to be taken care from the point of view of you being cyber hygiene.
Thank you so much, Sindhoor. I think our audience would really benefit out of your answers. And yes, cyber hygiene is something that everyone should take care of.
Right.
So since we're talking about cyber hygiene, so a very common question comes up to, it leads to cyber threats, right?
Right.
So what should we do to ward off a cyber threat? And what kind of security measures are advisable during, a cyber threat?
Right. Okay. Cyber security and how we are going to secure when you're facing cyber threats, right? See, whatever the process, there's a cycle. Okay, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So you first try to build a layer, you try to protect, you try to protect, but you get into some threat, and then you focus on, okay, let me detect what is a threat. And when you detect what is a threat, you would have faced some amount of damage. Yes, you need to respond for that threat. And then once you have responded, it's been warded. Yes, you need to recover what is lost by that attack. So advise us like how you do start yourself, understand how to ward off and everything. See, first try to audit your company's cyber security technology, to know what malware protection and spamming filters is being implemented, and how are they functioning in the current condition. Okay, onboard employees with good cybersecurity awareness training and provide them monthly updates or reviews or something topic relevant to security to all the employees, not just people who are only dedicated of taking care of securing things, everyone in the company. Okay, have an ethical hacker maybe to assess the company's vulnerabilities. So there's also services like blue team, red team, purple team. That's again a good option. You It's very important to have regular update on patching up the servers, computers, your security cameras and other devices. You can also conduct third party risk audits, or it can be done annually or biannually to internal process to review. So you would have heard about VAPT services, nothing but vulnerability assessment and penetration testing that can be carried out. You can place physical barriers that limit visitors uh, accessing to your networks, take care of your data tailgating and everything. And most importantly, keep an eye on the employees using their devices. Maybe you can implement bring your own device BYOD to the company, or company given laptops, and prohibit them from using company issued devices for personal. Okay, and always always get ready with an incident response plan to challenge any kind of security breaches or attacks happen. So you can tolerate them and manage it, and you can bring back whatever the data resiliency has to be taken care. So these are the measurements I could tell, these kind of an assessments you can try to implement in your organization to ward off the cyber threats.
Yeah, like you said, spoke about ethical hackers, like having an ethical hacker. I think that's a very important point because when we hear the word hacker, it always scares us. But for many of us who know, or many of us who don't know, there are ethical hackers who can actually save your organization from such
Yeah,
attacks, like Sindhu.
very true.
Yeah. So let's move on to another scenario. So what do you think are the target areas to implement such cyber hygiene or
Yeah,
cyber precautions?
target areas, like I said, each and every area should be targeted. See, imagine your house. You have a house, you have a compound, you have a gate, you have a main door, you come inside, you have rooms, you have a kitchen, your restrooms. You have a door for everything, right? So everything seems important. You seems they have to be logged and everything. The same way, assessing each individual and each device across various vectors will also lead us to a risk score that determines how much a risk person can incur or the organization can incur. Okay. So what can be the target areas? So one is the OS hygiene, that is your operating system. You need to take care of your device with up to date operating system versions. When operating systems are updated, it's considered to be more secure and comes with security patches that reduces security risk. Okay. So OS, yeah. Next comes the applications. So obviously you'll have some of the applications installed in your devices. So it might include some of the vulnerabilities that are exploited if not maintained properly or upgraded properly. And applications, yes, you'll also have access to web applications. So you can have web hygiene. Web hygiene actually assesses the risk when we are online browsing through it, includes a multitude of factors with respect to the security and privacy of the websites where we visit. Okay. So yes, and next the admin hygiene. The admin hygiene is something, you have a company, you have an admin who takes care of the employees. He gives some rights to them, authorized or maybe non-authorized users and everything. Okay. So admin rights should know about the individual, whether they are maintaining their system as defined, and ensure non-authorized users can easily take over the computer. So that is where you implement, infosec rules when it comes to this personal devices when you use at your, individual devices use at your office. And main importantly, I would like to talk on, password hygiene. See, when we talk about hacking, the first part what people try to exploit, the hackers try to do is the password. That's the root cause for hygiene. Okay, hacking, because whatever you beat your device, to access it you need to know its password. So one should have ensure that the individual password is healthy, unique, valid, and strong. So see, like, I would tell you, there's many scenarios I've come across. If people ask you what is your password, they usually tell that it's my birth date, it's my name. Usually, it's very basic psychology. People depend on their birth dates and their names and everything. To be very careful here, you expose your passwords frequently. You have your social media. You say, hi, this today is my birthday. I'm being 20 years old. They backdate your year, this year you're born, and name. This kind of, combination permutations, it would be really easy to hack them. Okay. That's very important. So always have a 12 character long passwords. Mix it with your, some of this icons, lower cases, numbers, and everything. So you create a strong password. Okay. So I would like to talk where you can check your password, how strong it is. You can use a website named passwordmonster.com. Let me repeat, passwordmonster.com. So you type your password, check in there. You might get to know how long does it take to crack your password. So accordingly, you can change and have the password. Okay. And there's also something called as how big is your haystack. When you get in it's how big is your haystack, you put your password there. You get to know again how easy it is to crack your password, how long does it take to crack your password. So you can use this kind of websites to understand the stability, the you know to understand your password when you do it. Okay. So there's something also called as a brute force attack. Okay, that is a trial and error method used by application programs to decode the login information, which has the encryption keys for them to gain unauthorized access to the systems. Okay. So with these kind of strategies, things can be hacked very easily. So always use your password managers. It's really good plan to invest in them. You have password managers like LastPass, Bitwarden. You have one password. Bitwarden, maybe a common man can use it. You have a free account for one user. Maybe any common man can start using it. It will be helpful for them. So this is about the password hygiene I would like to talk. And next comes the hardware hygiene, which deals with the device hardware settings. Okay. And security settings hygiene, that's making your software implementing some of the enforcing some rules. Your backup hygiene, like I spoke about, 3-to-1 backup rule. Your network hygiene, yes, network hygiene is again very important. When you make someone connect your network that are inherently risky, such as an open Wi-Fi network. So this is a take on the basic hygiene vectors.
So yeah, I too didn't know about the password monster, that you can actually check the strength of your password. So thank you for such informative answer. It's indeed eye-opening. Yeah, yeah, because you don't connect until, like you spoke about the social media,
Yeah.
where we openly discuss our birthdays and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
definitely an
There's
eye-opener.
many use cases where people uh, talk about their children. Today, my daughter has gone to this school, she's studying in this school, she's into this standard. It's like you're openly discussing about your daughter's private life, that she's available there at this moment.
Absolutely.
So school leaves at this time, go get her. So
Yeah.
it's kind of you leak out your data. So people have to be very, very careful when they're using social medias. So I request people, please do not get into too much personal information exposing on social medias. Make it more private to yourself. See what is been needed for you to share your happiness, but never get into exposing your own details.
True. So I think since you gave so much of good information to our audience, why don't you share a checklist of cyber hygiene that everybody should maintain?
Yeah, checklist. See, checklist for an organization to develop and adapt to a security routine which yields the benefit. Okay, so making strong of security posture of your organization. See, any organization runs on three things. Many people would have discussed about it. That is the people, process, and the technology. See, people are the basic building blocks of any organization. Okay, so they form the organization, they use the data, they communicate around the data, they play around the data. Okay, so they should also form the strength of your cyber defense. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Okay, so untrained staff tends to do mistakes that are becomes a liability instead of being an asset. So this is the problem. So it's not just your professional cybersecurity professionals to be taken care, it's also your common employee to also be trained on this awareness. Okay, so in number one case for the data breaches, it's the only human error which takes place. Okay, so for this reason, the people aspect of your business should make up the majority of your cyber hygiene practices. Okay, so what is this people hygiene practice or the checklist would look like? So I would like to tell you, like, implement BYOD policies. See, BYOD policies where the employees will bring in their laptops, they try to connect. I know it has a threat exposed also, but when you assess this, you can make your security posture stronger by exploring it. Okay, and make sure the workstation is on correct usage. Have this security awareness training to be given to them on up-to-date basis. Set policies to protect against the phishing attacks, which is really common these days. Okay, so when you do this, how do you assess your cyber security? So you would be understanding, Romita, these days cyber attacks, you would have getting mails on phishing. I mean, these days being a lot. Any company, every employees are getting this phishing attack mails. Okay, so here dual activity can be carried out as a way to scam customers and also as a mean to gain access to the business information systems. See, in most of the cases, you really can't stop this, phishing attempts by blocking links or from being opened or anything. So these should be addressed in a human level. So if you feel any suspicious mails coming to you, though it is from your inside organization or outside organization, please make sure that you double check and not clicking the link at any cost. You might get it, maybe me, Sindhoor, I'd be mailed you, but still no, please do not open the mail. Okay, so this is, you need to talk about implementing this kind of policies, how to handle emails from unknown and different sources, and what standards should be employees should be following for avoiding this kind of links, this anonymous email addresses on a company workstation and everything. Okay, on an hygiene aspects of this policy is to maintain the level of awareness around phishing within the organization. They should have a weekly email reminders to all the staff, like fake phishing emails are in place. So let's test the organizational readiness. So maybe you would have got mails telling that these are happening around, so please be aware and everything. So on this continuous awareness training, you need to protect against social engineering. These kind of practices can also be a form of your routine. Okay, so phishing is something like link baiting, which covers a wide array of your vulnerable access points and everything. Okay, so when it comes to phishing, you will need to combat it at a very root level. So you will be only to do this resilient activity when you're done the right training on the employee, basically. Okay, like I said, some of the companies ban employees using their Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts. Let me tell you why. Because using social media in the workplace might encourage attackers to befriend employees, and that connection can be used to as a channel to gather internal information of your company. So again, you're trying to expose. Okay, so this is one more thing. Like I said, it's again implementing your bring your own devices policy is also, it's a good working, which brings good benefits on employee efficiency, which can reduce an operational cost. But yes, there are some drawbacks. The information system security can suffer numerous non-standard devices attacking to the network. So but there's a blessing here. It's like it provides opportunity to boost your security posture if you're implementing this BYOD policy. Okay, so yes, when you get it, you can, as hygiene procedure, you can implement techniques such as multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication and everything. So that's again, it's used everywhere. Even your Google these days, your normal Google Gmail does, multi-factor authentication. So yes, so this is about the people I can talk about. Coming next to the process, people, process, and technology. Coming to the process, here it's a next category which cyber hygiene checklist should be again taken care of. Is, see, whatever every organization has its process of operational, okay, to be taken care, so procedure that aid in organization security. So there are some of reasonably standard processes that you will build inside your cyber hygiene routine. So these processes are often referenced as some reputable cybersecurity frameworks such as NIST 800, CIS, CSE. So keeping track of these processes can even drastically help reduce the chance of data breach. Okay, so in these processes, you can take care of your inventory of your software assets. You can take care of inventory of our hardware assets, which is very important to know our threat detection. Knowing how many laptops have been authorized to give access to the company Wi-Fi, and what's been happening, or there might be an extra laptop which may be an attacker who has just gained access to the information system and everything. In this process, there's something also called as vulnerability management. See, vulnerability is something you being, exposed, not being safe. Okay, if you're trying to build a security conscious organization, you need to incorporate a system to scan your information security consistently. This scanning system identifies any vulnerability that an attacker could exploit. From the management aspect comes to a play when deciding on what to do when you discover a vulnerability. So with this vulnerability risk assessment, you can choose whether you want to patch it or ignore it, how you want to balance the act between, cyber security budget, what type of technology can be implemented, and cost about, opportunity cost about leaving the vulnerability unpatched and everything. So again, the next is a threat analysis. So just as you are investing your time, money in vulnerability management, threat analysis also should be a should form a part of your cyber hygiene report. Okay, this process requires organization to stay on top of the threat landscape. See, attackers continuously work on looking new kind of attack avenues, try to exploit vulnerabilities, develop new threats and everything. See, threat analysis, you might have heard something called as the kill chain technology, where an attacker will sit there, see what data he can get, called as reconnaissance. Next, he try to build a weapon. Okay, when the weapon is done, he looks into area where he can, pick up. He will then install it, then he will deliver the weapon, and then he'll get the command and control of the system, and then what is the objective of his attack will be you know put up there. So this is very important to understand. If that is offensive matter, you need to plan your defensive method too. Okay, so very basic, you would have heard in your late to I mean 90s and 2000s. See, when we had a computers, it was very basic. We need to have an antivirus and we need to have a firewall. That was too much in our mind. So those days where the antivirus was in signature based, which was exposed, known, and they were signature based. So these days we have something advanced as behavior based antiviruses. It's a good part. And firewall, yes, that's about talking about the network, the traffic which you're gaining and everything. So this is about threat analysis. And talking about control user access, so you need to have some controlled user accesses. In many businesses in a startup phase, they will not have yet integrated IT and neglect one of those critical aspects of information management system. Be it a startup company, very basic. When they start up, they really don't implement all this as an idea. They'll never have this control user access. So many operating systems have control user access or privilege settings built into them. So the administrator user has to set these privileges on all other users on the network. Okay, so if these authorization and things are not implemented, attackers can quickly gain access to this type of information by accessing an admin account itself, which is why you should always enable multi-factor authentication, that's MFA, on high level accounts. Okay, this is on the process to be taken care. When it comes to technology, see, technology is something every day evolving. Technology is, you need in place these days. Nothing works without technology. So although organization mainly consists of people and management frameworks, you need to always employ tools that makes your life easier. Like I said, you firewall and antivirus. So anti-malware and antivirus. So you really can't go out of any threat without hearing about malware attack or viruses and everything. When attack happens, it does not affect the businesses, but also severe concern to the customers too. So it's great that the security industry has been developing solutions to combat this problem since its inception. So that is antivirus and anti-malware. So no information secure is genuinely safe. Information system is genuinely safe without this basic defense solution. If you have no great security budget, at least invest a little bit into a decent antivirus program. Okay, and next again with the firewalls, it much more like an antivirus. Firewall is an most essential another tool for any organization willing to combat cyber threats. Technologically speaking, this is your first line of defense. Again, it will block your troublesome traffic and trying to gain your information system. So this is the thing. If you can invest in firewall, try investing in a good next generation firewall. That will be helpful. And these are very basic systems to be taken care from the technology process.
Thank you, Sindhoor. I would also like to know there are a lot of course, we are addressing to a lot of organizations here, but shouldn't individuals also know about hygiene tips that we all can imply in our daily routine, to stay safe online from attacks?
Okay. Um, Hygiene tips to individual. Yes. See, like I spoke about the password. I would again emphasize on password. Okay. Avoid using passwords for different accounts. Okay. Keep changing your passwords on regular basis. Have a mixture of uppercase, lowercase symbols, numbers jumbled up. Make sure it's not limited to 6 8. Make it a 12 characters long. Okay. And never put in some of your sequential numbers, like people randomly keep using 1 2 3 4 5 6. Take it anyone, so never do that. Or as your birth date, your name, your pet's name, whatever it is. Okay. So avoid writing passwords and sharing them with others. Like I said, you please use password manager to help generate. Like you said me, for individual, I'm telling you, Bitwarden gives you one account, one user free for you to manage and generate new passwords. So make use of it. Okay. Again, going with multi-factor authentication, all the essential accounts such as email, social media, or be it your banking apps should be protected with MFA, using apps like Google Authenticator or other things. So take MFA backup code saved in your password manager and everything. So backup your data regularly. It's very important to keep your files safe and protect it against by any data loss that happens. You can either put it in the external hard drive or put it on the cloud and everything. Ensure privacy. So private information such as your home address, your private pictures, phone or credit card numbers are not there on social media publicly. Maybe one, be careful clicking a picture, make sure these things are not shown around in your pictures. So what, some kind of games, quizzes or surveys on social media that ask for sensitive personal information, be careful. Please do not even share your correct numbers. That, with that number, people can also hack your phone. You never know. You have your friend cam, they can even monitor through it. We need to be very careful. Nothing is safe around the internet. So take care not to disclose your private information when you're using public Wi-Fi. Okay. Also, take implement VPN when you're mostly using this public Wi-Fi to maximize your privacy. And when you're aware of this, talk with your family, make them understand, these things are very important to be taken care about, not to try sharing information online, but being with the privacy of your data. So also keep your software, firmware or apps up to date. When in phone, when you're not using any apps, please uninstall those apps which are really not required. Understand what kind of permissions you're giving for the apps when you're downloading. Does it have access to your contacts? Is it really necessary for that app to get access for your contacts? Should it get the permission for your camera, I mean gallery? Is it really necessary for this app to give those permissions? Please keep checking on that. And always download apps from a reputable and official sources. Like there are many instances where even the Google Play Store also had some of the apps which were having malwares. Okay. So we really need to understand, but we download apps from the reputable and official sources. So when it comes to your home and your Wi-Fi, secure your routers. Okay. Change your default name on the Wi-Fi. Frequently change the username and password of your Wi-Fi. Keep your firmware up to date. Make sure you disable the remote access. Okay. Those plug and play services and Wi-Fi protected setup. So when someone wants to come, unknown person, not close to you, you try to give them the password. No, have a separate network for those kind of guests. And avoid social engineering attacks. Okay. Clicking on your suspicious link which you're really not aware of, opening mails that look suspicious, those kind of attachments or email text messages on your phones. And some ads like promising some money, prices, discounts and everything. So encrypting devices, That's again very important when you try to store your data online and everything. Uh, Make sure always you encrypt devices and other media which contain sensitive data, including your laptop, tablet, smartphone, and everything, even the cloud storage. When you're trying to, dispose your cell phone, like, every year or 2 year once we try to dispose our smartphone and everything, make sure we wipe out clean the phone or any personal information for others to get accessed. We need to really, reset our phone when we are trying to sell back. Okay. And ensure high quality antivirus protection, which scan for your laptop or PCs for computer viruses and other malicious software. So importantly, remember to have this kind of cyber hygiene things taken place, making this routine every day for your security. So these are some of the points I would like to talk to the individuals. And yes, some people also, they try to charge their phones when they're on a travel, be it on train, somewhere, a station or anything. See, there's something called as juice jacking. Okay, once you try to charge your phone, they might be malware put into your phone through that port. So your phone will be logged, or a hacker can get access to your phone. So carry your own for what do you say, uh, bank for you to charge your phone.
Thank you so much, Sindhu. This was really, the tips were very helpful. And, you indeed, pointed out few things which are eye-opening, like, not charging your phone using any other charger
Yeah,
ports.
right. Apart from your charger, use your phone banks. That's very
Yes.
safest way again.
Yes, and I think it was very interesting, very informative, very eye-opening, and we really thank you for all the insights that you shared with us today, and we look forward to many more such webinars from you with us,
Sure,
Sindhu.
sure. I would really love to have these sessions because it's nice to share, information people so they can be aware of this instead of we suffering it
Yes,
before it happens.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Sindhu, would you like to, tell our audience if they want some tips on cyber hygiene or something, if they can connect with you?
Sure, sure. Anytime. And I could say you InstaSafe, you have your own VPN services, good security on cloud and maybe yes. When access to networks, they should use InstaSafe VPN.
Thank you so much, Sindhu. So, hope to see you again soon. You have a great evening.
You too.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you so much for you, Romit.